At the top this week, Brewers continue to sit in the penthouse after the Fighting Pat Murphys lead Major League Baseball in wins. Mariners are the biggest risers, up 5 spots inside the top 10. Seattle trying to win its first division title since 2001. M's do lead the Astros by a game in the AL West. Sportsline giving Seattle a 72% chance to win the division, 95% chance at the playoffs. And right now, Rangers and Guardians would be on the outside looking in. All right, we've got Matt Snyder, who puts our power rankings together, and Lewis Brinson to offer his thoughts, any agreements or disagreements per usual. But Matt, let's start with Toronto. We saw there in the AL playoff picture, leading the division. I think some thought that they would trail off, tip off, fall off. It hasn't happened yet. What has stood out to you about this Blue Jays club?
Yeah, things are really starting to look good for the playoffs, particularly in the rotation there. Kevin Gausman has a 2.02 ERA in his last 7 starts. Shane Bieber has mostly been very, very good since returning from his surgery. 30 strikeouts against 4 walks for him. So it looks like you might have 2 frontline starters there. The offense, of course, they do need Bo Bichette back from injury, but you've got Vladimir Guerrero there. They have a very well-rounded lineup. And how about George Springer? Man, he's never hit 300 before in his career. He's 35 years old right now. He's hitting 303. With 29 home runs. Unbelievable season from George Springer. I really, really like this team. I do believe that they are going to seal that AL East title here in the next next week or so. They have not won the East since 2015, and they've only won it 1 time since 1993. So it's a really cool story. And like I said, things are really starting to come together, and I like them a lot in the American League at large.
Yeah, I'm with Matt here. I mean, the AL East is pretty much locked up with the Blue Jays at the head of it. But you think about the supporting cast, the Edison Bargers, the Tyler Heinemans, who caught that masterpiece by Gausman the other day. But you think about the Dalton Varshows, you think about the like I said, Heineman, the Nathan Lukes, the supporting cast. You got the Vladdies, you got the Bo Bichettes. Obviously, you got your aircraft carriers there, but you have that supporting cast, and I again agree with Matt here. You need those guys down the stretch. You need those guys to make a deep playoff run. They have the veteran leadership now where they were lacking in years prior, the experience. You have guys that have been there and done that, George Springer and Max Scherzer. And now you add a Shane Bieber, who is doing his thing over there since coming back from injury. But you have guys that you can rely on off the bench, and you have guys that you can plug in alongside your superstars. Now, hopefully, Bo Bichette can come back and help out. And obviously, we see that Anthony Santander is getting some at-bats, so maybe he comes back and contributes down the stretch and into the playoffs. So we'll see. But I really do like this Blue Jays team, and I like them to go late in the playoffs.
I like that naval reference, Lewis, by the way. If this holds and we get 3 Blue Jays who hit 300 or better, we got to look up the last time, especially at this day and age, which ball club has had 300 guys in terms of average. All right, let's get to the team that we tease, and that's the Mariners, who cracked the top 10 here. 9-game win streak, battling it out with the Astros as of our taping and talking today, guys. They are there by 1 game. So, Big Dumper still getting it done, setting some records. Matt here, give me the lowdown on the M's.
Yeah, look, turnover's fun, right? Like we've seen the same teams every year. That gets a little stale, that gets a little boring. The Astros have won in a full season the AL West every single year, starting with 2017 up through last year. So to get the Mariners to win it would be cool. They haven't even won the AL West since 2001. And I know that usually when we think about the Mariners, and it's mostly because of that ballpark, it suppresses offense. You usually think about the pitching, but the offense deserves a lot of love here. They might have 2 30-30 guys in Julio Rodriguez and Randy Arozarena. Cal Raleigh with the 54 home runs, tying Mickey Mantle for the most ever by a switch hitter with 115 RBIs as well. Really, a lot of love needs to be given to this Mariners offense, thriving despite playing in a ballpark that suppresses offense so greatly. It would be like the Rockies having an amazing pitching staff in Coors Field. So a lot of credit to the Mariners offense. And frankly, I hope they get it done. Like I said, turnover's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You think about a guy that's setting records like Kyle Raleigh this year. Guys get behind guys like that. That surges guys into a playoff run like the Mariners are being surged into right now. But you have that starting pitching staff as well. Brian Wu, George Kirby. I mean, these guys that we've been expecting, this young pitching staff that we've been expecting to kind of come into their own. for a while now. Now these guys are coming to their own. They're doing their thing. They're going 6+ innings. They're giving you 10+ strikeouts as you go out there. So I just think about the fullness of this team and the completeness of this team. Obviously, Julio Rodriguez being the superstar that he is, Cal Raleigh doing his thing, Randy Arozarena. Suarez hasn't even really contributed, and wait till he gets going. So I can't wait to see what he gets going and he starts contributing as well. Josh Naylor just being kind of a silent assassin off to the side there, but the bullpen's been rock solid for them. So it kind of looks like they're going to win the AL West. They got a tough schedule coming up. You got the Astros have a big series coming up against the Texas Rangers, so that's going to be a head-to-head battle tonight. But I don't know, man. The Mariners look really good going into playoffs and leading the AL West. So exciting to see down the stretch what they can do.
Yeah, it's been a fun season. That fan base is electric in terms of how they support that team. And if they can get another division banner to go with 0-1, that certainly would be nice for those folks up there. So we've talked about the table setters, certainly, but obviously the other chasers in that wild card race is certainly an interesting thing. And Lewis, I'm going to give you first word about a handful of teams within 5 games of the wild card race right now. How do you handicap it as we're talking today?
Yeah, I think the Boston Red Sox and the Yankees are a lock, right? You have those teams, I think, that are in my opinion. Now you go to the Mariners, you go to the Astros, you go to. I really don't see anybody really touching really the Red Sox and the Yankees there. I think the Astros are going to end up winning the division. If I could throw that out there, but this division, this wild card race is a little stagnant in my opinion. Again, I think the Mariners really are a good team, but I think the Astros end up taking that third wild card spot, or no, actually end up taking the division. So again, the Mariners going to take that third wild card spot, but I think it's pretty much locked up in my opinion there.
I'm going to disagree with Lewis respectfully. I think the Astros are going down. They've got the Rangers and Mariners at home this week. I think they're going to stumble. I think they're going to lose both series. They do not look good at all. They're 26-35 since July 6th when they swept the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium. They've been terrible since then. So I think that they're going to be done in by the head-to-head battles this week. Rangers, they have so many important injuries, and they just keep winning. They've been playing so well, 16-5 since August 21st, and meanwhile, the Guardians have won 9-10. And something to watch with the Guardians. While they should be focused on the wild card because it's closer, they're 6.5 games out in the AL Central, and they have 6 head-to-head games left with the Tigers. If they somehow sweep those 6 games, they could well win the AL Central, even though they were down by like 14 games earlier this season. It would be remarkable. But my biggest thing is I agree with Lewis. Yankees and Red Sox are going to be in. I think the Astros are going to fall out, whether it's the Rangers or Guardians. I'm not sure about which one of those teams, but I do have the Astros falling out.
So, guys, we got to wrap things up. Quick thought on the NL wildcard race. Snyder, you can go first, quickly here.
Yeah, none of them are good. None of them are good. I mean, the Giants are 9-25. Went 9-25 from July 12th through August 25th. They played way too well for a stretch. They're bad again. The Reds are 7-15 since August 19th. For me, if you look at this race, my biggest takeaway is there are too many playoff teams, because if you start with the Mets right there, nobody else listed below them deserves to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Matt there. I mean, the Giants have to play the Dodgers, got to play the Diamondbacks again. I think the Reds are out of it. I think the Diamondbacks do have a good offense, but you see the rest of that schedule. It is a tough schedule coming up. Now, the Mets, we'll see if the Mets end up Metting. It's just as simple as that. Pete Alonso ended up saving their season, I think, yesterday, kind of saving them yesterday with that big home run. But I think it's pretty much locked up. But we'll see if we'll see if the Mets can hang on there. Again, I'm a little biased. Mets beating up on the Marlins a long time when I was with the Marlins. So we'll see if the Mets end up Metting. But ultimately, I think they'll be fine. And the other teams, I think, will lay in the weeds. But like Matt said, I don't think any of those kind of teams looking out on the outside in that really deserve to be in the playoffs at this point.
Mets finally got off the schneid on Sunday. By the way, Sportsline, their predictive data model, does have the Mets 60% to make the playoffs as of today. Matt, certainly appreciate it. Lewis, thanks for chiming in. Check out that full list on CBSSports.com. You see the MLB games tonight. Phillies and Dodgers battle division leaders at Chavez Ravine with Rangers Suarez and Emmett Sheehan, your probables in that late game in LA.
What's up, Dodgers Nation? Victor here, and I've got to tell you, this offseason rumor just lit a fire under me. Imagine walking into opening day at Dodger Stadium in 2026, and in right field, instead of another stopgap name or a platoon player, you see Kyle Tucker running out to take his spot in Dodger blue. Yeah, the same Kyle Tucker who's been tormenting pitchers for years with that smooth swing and gold glove defense. Well, according to a brand new prediction from Sports Illustrated, the Dodgers are the favorites to land Tucker in free agency this winter, and the way things are shaping up, it actually makes a lot of sense. Let's break it down, because this could be one of those moves that turns the Dodgers from contenders into an unstoppable juggernaut. So here's the deal. Kyle Tucker is hitting free agency after spending just 1 year with the Chicago Cubs, who paid a heavy price to trade for him. They gave up 3 real pieces to bring him in as basically a rental, but now Tucker's value is sky high. He's expected to command a contract in the neighborhood of $500 million, nearly 3 times bigger than the Jason Hayward deal from a decade ago, which was worth $184 million. And that's the problem for the Cubs. Are they really going to step up and pay $500 million for one player? History tells us no. They've been hesitant to throw around that kind of money, and unless something changes dramatically, Tucker could easily walk right out the door. That's where the Dodgers come in. Sports Illustrated's Jackson Roberts flat out predicted it. Tucker signs with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's think about this logically. The Dodgers can absolutely afford him. This team just gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million. They've locked up Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. When the front office sees a player they believe can be a franchise cornerstone, they don't hesitate. And if we're being honest, right field has been a bigger hole than we expected. Teoscar Hernandez has been productive, but streaky. James Outman hasn't fully cemented himself, and Andy Paez is still trying to prove he belongs. Tucker solves that immediately. He's 27 years old, entering his prime, and already a proven star. Just look at the numbers. Kyle Tucker is a 2-time All-Star, and in 2023 with Houston, he hit 284 with 29 home runs, 112 RBIs, and an 886 OPS. He also swiped 30 bags, showing he's not just power and defense, he brings speed too. And speaking of defense, this guy has a gold glove in right field. That's the kind of all-around player the Dodgers love. Someone who impacts the game in every facet. Now imagine this lineup: Betts at second base, Freeman at first, Ohtani at DH, Tucker in right field. That's 4 MVP caliber bats at the top of your order. You're talking about a lineup that could rival any team in baseball history. But here's the kicker. The Cubs are under enormous pressure. They gave up major trade capital for Tucker, and if he walks after 1 year, that's a nightmare scenario for them. Fans will demand answers, and yet, unless they're ready to commit to $500 million, it's hard to see how they can outbid the Dodgers. This offseason is already shaping up to be wild, but Dodgers fans, this could be the move. Ohtani was last winter's headline. Could Kyle Tucker be the next superstar to join the super team in LA? The Dodgers have the money, the need, and the championship window wide open. It feels like the perfect storm. But I want to know what you think, Dodgers Nation. Should the Dodgers go all in on Kyle Tucker this winter? Would you be comfortable with a $500 million deal to secure one of the best outfielders in baseball? Or do you think we should focus those resources elsewhere, like pitching depth or a long-term shortstop solution? Drop your takes in the comments below. I'm going to be reading and responding because this one has me fired up. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with every Dodgers fan you know. If Kyle Tucker really does end up in Dodger blue, you can say you heard it here first. Let's go Dodgers!